Hello everybody and welcome back to another vlog. I am currently mid-lockdown at home just outside London, and I'm going through some of my old content, and I wanted to do a couple more videos on my trip to Sri Lanka earlier this year. I travelled to Sri Lanka back in February, just before coronavirus was a thing and before lockdown began, and I'm so glad that I managed to get a trip booked in for like an international trip booked in for this year before this happened, especially because it was one of the most memorable trips ever. I travelled to Sri Lanka for 10 days with one of my best friends, Sandy, and we spent the most amazing few days exploring everything Sri Lanka has to offer, but one of the best things that we did whilst we were in Sri Lanka was going on an elephant safari, and I just wanted to document that experience really. I did feature it in my vlog from the trip back in March, but yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit more in detail about what we did during our elephant safari. One of the best bucket list experiences to do in Sri Lanka is to go on elephant safari, and we did this at Minneriya National Park. We're told it's one of the best places to do safari in Sri Lanka. Obviously I haven't been to any of the others. Yala National Park is also meant to be incredible, but we didn't get a chance to visit there when we were in the country. Minneriya National Park is a national park just in the northern centre province of Sri Lanka. So if you look at a map of Sri Lanka, I'll pop one up here. It's right in the middle, and you'll be able to see on the map. So it's a perfect location. It's also only around 2 to 3 hours from Colombo, and then you're also on the right route to start heading south from the national park towards Kandy, and then finally Ella, and even Gaul if you're going to head straight through the middle of the country. There is also a neighbouring national park called Kadula, and the two parks actually don't have any like barriers between them, so actually as a whole they're joined, and the elephants roam freely both through both of the national parks and to wherever they want. I guess that's the point of being able to see wild elephants in Sri Lanka. For our trip to Minneriya National Park, we actually headed for lunch in a nearby town around midday, and then our tour guide picked us up after lunch around 1 PM as we'd booked a afternoon/sunset tour of the park to try and find some elephants. The best time to go on tour is towards the mid to late afternoon, when the elephants come out from the midday sun and they head to a lot of the rivers and lakes in the national park. It's important to state here that you can't actually go into Minneriya National Park without a tour guide in a jeep. You do need to book these in advance, and I will pop some of the recommendations that we've come across during our research of doing this in the description box below. Using a tour guide also means that you have an expert able to know what to look out for and where to find the elephants, because this national park is huge and going off alone would not be a good idea, not just because of your safety, but also you would spend hours searching for elephants, whereas these tour guides are experts in finding these animals, and they know exactly what they're looking for, whether it's footprints, noises, following other drivers. So I would definitely book a really respectable tour guide to get the best out of this experience. The average price for an afternoon sunset safari is around $75 to $100 per person. The tour will usually last 3 to 4 hours, but our tour guide was in no rush to finish our tour at around 5 o'clock, so we kind of hung around for a little bit in the national park, and there's also a hill, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but you can climb to the top of the hill and there are the most spectacular views across Minneriya National Park, and I would definitely suggest at sunset this is one of the best things to do. The best time to visit the national park is between May and September. However, we went in February and it was also the perfect time. We saw lots of elephants. We think we counted around 40 to 50 elephants in total during the 4 hours. So even though those are recommended dates, I wouldn't worry too much if you're heading to Sri Lanka on a trip outside of those months. Large numbers of the elephants tend to gather around lakes or rivers or places where there's water. So the best time to go is actually when there has been a bit of rainfall, because the lakes and the rivers will be bigger and therefore the elephants will tend to gather in larger groups. Minneriya National Park is actually also the one place in the world where it has been reported to have the largest gathering of elephants in the world, at around 700 elephants at one point. So if you see this, that would be obviously the most surreal and incredible bucket list experience. But we saw around 50 elephants, usually within their families, with a mother, father and baby elephants. The largest group that we saw during the 3 to 4 hours was around 8 elephants at one time, and we think that that was more or less a family. And just to round up, I just wanted to say, if you are heading to Sri Lanka and you love wildlife and animals, this is something to add to the top of your Sri Lanka bucket list. This was the most unreal experience, and I found it to be an overwhelming and surreal one too. I have never been on safari before, but this was certainly the next best thing. So definitely add this place to your bucket list. Minneriya National Park is one of the best national parks to visit in Sri Lanka. If you want to read more about my experience and see some photos as well, head to the blog post in the link in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and hit the like button too. All of your comments and engagement really means a lot to me. I'm going to be doing a couple more videos on my Sri Lanka trip in the next week or so, so stay tuned, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. See you later, bye!